The modern world is weird, especially in terms of money. I don't really understand the modern world at all. Everybody works so many hours these days without an end in sight, and what do they really get from it? They lose all their time, they work for a boss, they build their dream, and don't really ever get on to fulfilling their own dreams or really doing anything of value. I think that's quite sad. Most people work 9 to 5 for something that they don't care about and never get out of it. They retire at 65. They don't get anything from their life. That's why I'm weird. As weird as that sounds. Um, I work a lot of hours, but I don't do it for no reason. Um, my aim is to make enough money to not have to work these kind of jobs, to have income streams from other sources, to be free of a job and not tied to an employer or a location, be a free person. Basically, just wanting that freedom that it would give me. The other thing I mentioned there was location as well. A lot of people are tied to a location by the jobs that they have. There's many ways in which a job can, or many ways in which you can be tied to a location. One is your job, two is your house, three is relationships, and four could be like probably culture. Would be another one. Um, the weird thing is that a lot of these things are encouraged. Some of the best ways to make money is actually potentially to get a mortgage. You save enough money, you get a mortgage, you pay it off one day, you own the house. Fair enough. What about all the years that you don't own that house though? Ties you to that location. You have to, if you don't live in that house, you have to have someone renting that house. That's a headache. If you live in that house, you're tied to that location. You're living there. You have to get the value from the mortgage that you're paying each month. So you wouldn't move somewhere else, which means you're tied to that location. It's a ball and chain. You don't really want to have it if you can avoid it. Other things such as, what was the other one I mentioned? Yeah, your work, obviously the one I mentioned originally. You don't really want your work to tie you to a particular location. Ideally, you work on the internet, or you have a remote job, or you pick up jobs along the way. If you're a versatile person, a skilled person, this isn't too difficult. You can be versatile in the type of job that you would do, and if you have a small budget if you don't need a lot of money, then this is a lot more achievable, especially. And the other thing I mentioned was relationships. It's not a bad thing to have good relationships. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's one of the reasons why it is that some people would choose not to move abroad. It's good to be close to family. It's good to have a girlfriend. It's good to have a boyfriend. It's good to have a partner. Like, these things enrich our lives. But I feel like there's a limit to that. With what most people with the way that most people think about relationships. You don't have to be next to people all the time to be friends with them as well. You are a free person. You can go abroad, come back. But yeah, cultural. I'm not really sure about all the cultural differences of moving abroad. But I can see how it might be an impact if you're, I don't know, I'm just gonna throw this out. If you're Muslim and you go to a country where it's not welcome, I guess I can see why that obviously would put you off. But yeah, I'm not going to talk much about that because I don't know much about that. But yeah, I think that's the main points there. People just seem to accept the world the way it is, and that they're never going to get out of it, that they're never going to be free or do something different or be different from their friends. um, really just be anything of any kind of value. I don't think that's really what anybody would want, but they're not very ambitious with what they want either. I am. I don't want to work at a job forever. Maybe I'm lazy. No, I'm not. I want to work on stuff with actual value, things that actually mean something to me, and try to make a difference in this world before it is that I'm 6 feet under. Hopefully, before then, anyway. Um, how exactly would you go about doing this? If you're the same as me and you're thinking, I would love to be location independent, be free, not have to work for this boss, I hate this job, Monday morning's a drag, then really you just need to start thinking about ways in which you can reduce your expenses and increase your income in different ways. In different ways. That's about as simple as it gets. I'll make more videos on this topic, but that's the basics of it. There's lots of ways to do both of those as well. As previous Callum was saying, I don't want to be a slave. I don't want to live my life according to what a boss says, when he can do it, why he can't do something, and basically have my entire life dictated by a person that really should have nothing to do with it. My finances shouldn't be related to what I say or who I am as a person, and more what I can do, and be more related to what I can do for an individual, a company, I don't know, charity, anything that really would need my help with some goal. And that's why it is that I don't feel like a 9 to 5 job and what most people do in their lives is really of any value, and why it is that I strive so hard to get away from it. There's a certain kind of restriction that people feel in their lives nowadays, which is solely based on the fact that they're reliant on the income that they're receiving from their employer. You may idea how many times that people have been walking to work, something has happened on the way to work that they didn't agree with. It didn't agree with their morals. They felt like they should have helped someone. They, I don't know, stuff like that. Just stuff that people, if they had time or if they felt like there would be no repercussions, would help, right? I mean, what about a first aid incident? Someone needs help, they need first aid right now, you don't have time, you've got to get to work. You're worried about the repercussions your boss might have on you having helped someone if you were late. They're worried that people will look past the fact that they helped someone and see, oh, you were late, so therefore you're getting this amount of money docked from your pay. And people are so reliant on that money that they can't do these things, which I think is very, very bad. Very bad, right? Every person should be in charge of what it is that they're doing with their time, right? And when it is you're relying on someone else, you give up the freedom that like your life had. So that's why I try so hard to get away from the traditional way of the world and be less reliant on one thing, and spread your reliance of financially onto many different areas. Let's face it, if you don't have control over what you do with your time, your ability to help someone, your ability to do something without any kind of consequence, they control your entire life. You don't work 8 hours, you work 24 hours. They control the rest of your time anyway. What do? You go home and sleep, you eat. Fair enough, maintain your body, right? The only reason why you do that is so that you can go back and go and do that 8 hours again, right? All the time in between, what are you doing? You're getting ready for going back to work. Where do you live? You live close to your work. Why do you live close to your work? Because it's convenient, because it's easy, but you're basically controlled by where you live by your job. All these different factors, there's very little control over, most people have over their lives, and what the things is that they do within them. It's very concerning. What difference is there between everyday people and slaves? The only difference is slaves didn't used to get anything other than food and a house, right? They got accommodation and then they got sustenance for their body. What are we buying with our money nowadays? 9 to 5 workers, they're buying food and a house, right? That's basically the gist of it, right? The rest of it is tied round getting to and from work. Maybe they have a car. Occasionally they go out with their friends and drive their pals somewhere, right? Most majority of their money is going on food and housing, right? And if you're in that position, then you must see how limiting that must be, and how similar, very similar, it must be to being a slave. And I don't mean to make it shatter anyone's realities or make themselves feel bad about their lives, right? It's not fucking terrible, right? But it's very similar to old fashioned slavery. Just the only difference is you think this is normal. Everybody thinks this is normal, and it really shouldn't be. Everybody should be striving as hard as possible to get out of this kind of world in which everyone's competing with each other for a better life. And hopefully one day we can all have that better life, and not be limited in the way that the current financial system is. Why am I saying this? Why do you think I'm saying this? Seriously, think about it. My job isn't to sit here and put people down or make people feel bad about themselves or anything like that. I'm hoping this is a slight reality shift in your thinking about the world, right? And makes you puts that fire underneath you to really pursue more, just be a better person, and really think about the way that your world currently is, and hopefully you'd be interested in changing that at some point in your life, so that you can be a freer individual, have more control of your life, and do more good in the world, and just be a stronger person in general. Have a better life, for the rest of it. All right, I think that's where I'm gonna close it up. Thanks for watching.